Welcome to Glow. Annie Carpenter here. So this practice does require a lot of props, and often in this program you'll find me using lots and lots of props. So I'll always recommend what would be ideal, and you can improvise. And I'll try to give you suggestions for that. And on that note, what I hope you'll find in these practices with all the props is that it's worth it for you to keep trying different combinations of props, some higher, some lower, more supportive, less supportive, based on what you need in this moment. Okay, so just make it work for you. And you may be inspired to find better props than I'm suggesting. Okay, so we're gonna start with a really sweet, just open up kind of pose today. And this is called cross bolsters, and you'll be using two of the important props for this. So the bolsters, you'll also probably want a little later a blanket, a couple of blocks, then maybe a strap too. So this, you put your bolsters in a cross shape like this, and this one is one you really want to play with. So try starting with your butt kind of on the front edge, the leading edge towards your feet of the top bolster. Lengthen the tailbone. And you're just gonna roll back all the way over. And I like my head on the floor. Now I want you to observe that I have the bolsters crossed with the top one on top, but it's also, some people prefer it with a crossed one on the bottom. And maybe I'll show that in just a second, but just try this out and play. Come up, shift your butt further back, and you'll notice you get a little more chest opening. You can stretch your legs out. What I want you to feel here is just this open, almost, sometimes I call this exasperation pose. Just everything open, everything dropping. And it feels a little cooling. I'm not sure your temperature is going to shift all that much, but it's like, oh, whatever, enough. So that it just is a pose that you plop into, not looking at specific alignment. Obviously, I want it to feel good and feel safe, but I don't need you to turn this that way or rotate that the other way. Just let it feel good. If it feels like too much in the lower back, then scoot towards your feet, and I'll take it out of the lower back a bit. And then once you've got something that feels right, big breath in. And we're just going to hang out here for a couple of minutes. If you wanted to try switching the bolsters the other way, like I said, some people prefer it. Feel free to gently roll to one side and try the other way, or maybe next time you practice this one. But what I'm hoping that you'll feel is, again, that feeling of just cooling off, taking yourself out of any intensity, allowing the fact that maybe you're going through a surge of heat in your body. Maybe that's daytime flashes, maybe you're getting night sweats. And just giving yourself this time to let everything go. You don't have to fix or do or fidget. Just really open the front as if you could feel the heat rising like mist off your body. And just a few more breaths. So remember, you can always adjust this. You can put your feet on the floor if it feels like a lot in your lower back. Again, you can shift towards your feet if that's what's going on. You can put your arms lower or higher. I like to have the arms at least shoulder width, because then it feels like the heat of the underbody, the armpit, side body can also release. And just close your eyes and just see if that image of mist. At dawn, sometimes bodies of water will release mist up into the sky. Just see if that image helps. And last couple of breaths. If it's comfortable, close your eyes. Feel your jaw a little slack. And then one more. Let's take a big breath. Sigh it out. And let's go really slow with our transitions, especially when we're using all these props. So bend your legs, feet to the mat, and then just kind of ease your way, roll to either side, whatever one's comfortable. Hold on to the mat if you feel slippery, and just roll to a side, bring your legs close. Remember, using our arm strength to come on up, try to keep the core soft. And just pause here, just take a little seat beside those bolsters and just already notice what it's like to take time, right? To not rush, to let things open at their own pace. And I think this is a lot of what is helpful for us in these times where we just feel overheated. Okay, let's go on. So we're gonna move the bolsters back out of the way and grab something to sit on. For me, just a folded blanket is plenty, but if you want another blanket or you want to sit on your bolster, you can certainly do that. And any comfortable cross leg. So again, this is not so much about perfecting the shape of the body. It's just kind of taking time to help things feel good. Sit as tall as you comfortably can. Let the shoulders drop. Long neck, long spine. And I'd like to teach you this really sweet pranayama technique that involves rolling your tongue. And the truth of the matter is that there's a small percentage of the population that can't roll their tongue. And so if you can't, just naturally, it looks like this. If you can't do that, then you'll just make a little circle with your lips. And this breath technique is called, well, depends who you ask. Some people say Sitali and some people say Sitali. So you can call it whatever you want. How about cooling breath? So here we go. We're going to inhale through a curled tongue. And you're going to touch the tip of your tongue to the roof of the mouth at the top of the inhale. And you're going to exhale through the nose. Something similar to that. So exhale first. Curl your tongue. And inhale through it like you're sucking air through a straw. So here we go. And then touch tip of the tongue to roof of mouth, just pausing with the breath in. And then slow exhale through the nose. And exhale slowly as you comfortably can. You can use the Ujjayi technique if you know that, but just make it a slow, steady exhale. And then we'll do a few more. Curl the tongue. Tip of the tongue, roof of the mouth. Exhale through the nose, slow, steady, but easy exhale. And let's take just an easy breath in and out. And just notice how it feels. Very often you'll feel a literal sense of cooling with this breath. Let's do a couple more. Curl the tongue. Tip of the tongue, roof of the mouth. Exhale slow. And you can either take a recovery breath in between, or you can keep going as you're ready. Tip of the tongue. Slow exhale. Let's take again, easy breath. Sometimes these recovery breaths in between pranayama is really helpful, not just to give yourself a rest, but also to sense, has there been a shift yet? Are you feeling a cooling? It's kind of like running your inner body through cool water with this technique. Let's do a couple more. Curl the tongue. Tip of the tongue, roof of mouth. Exhale. And last time. Curl the tongue or make that circle. Tip of the tongue. And easy, slow exhale. Just pause. Let the breath be easy now, in and out. Just see how you feel. And this simple little breath technique is something, put it in your back pocket and take it with you. You can use it anytime. It doesn't have to be part of a yoga practice. Sometimes we feel like sticking our faces in the refrigerator. You might try this instead. Okay, so bring your legs a little further across, and let's just make sure the hips are released. So this time, knees pretty much straight ahead, and just walk your fingertips forward. And you might just lean on the hands if the hips are tight. If you want to go a little further, come on down to the forearms. You might press the outer edges of your feet down just a wee bit. That'll just make your knees a little more stable. And if things start to let go and you want to make a little pillow, just drop your head, just a few breaths. How about one more sigh? And then we'll just roll on up. Nice and easy. Stretch the legs out and change the cross. And we're just going to take an easy twist. Let's take the legs the same way, so knees pretty much straight out. You can go either side you want. We're going to put the hand on the inner knee. So I've got my right arm against my left inner knee. And I'm just going to, this is real easy twist, not the biggest twist ever. Just up on the inhales and simple turn on the exhales. And you decide, does it feel good to turn your head all the way, or maybe keep it forward? Sometimes turning the head against the twist feels better. You choose. Right, so spinal twist can be heating. I want you to really go easy with this. I want this whole practice to make you feel open and released and like you're cool, or at least a little cooler. And then unwind the twist. And then right over to the second side. Inhale tall, exhale turn. So again, we're not looking to get to any shape, any form. We're just lengthening, making space inside with the inhales, and just a soft turn on the exhale. We feel a little looser, a little more space. Maybe turn the head to the front. And then unwind. And now we'll just fold forward here on the second side. Ease in. Again, you might just rest on the forearms, palms. See what you're ready for. And yeah, each side's different, isn't it? And just noticing these ways our bodies are not symmetrical, or shall we say predictable, as expected, just mirrors what we're feeling in this time, doesn't it? Seems like everything's doing just fine, and then boom, hot flash. So giving yourself time, space for simple practices is just a way of being with yourself and letting the chaos just be in the background for a few minutes. Okay, coming up, and then stretch your legs to straight. I will do just a little bit of movement now. I don't want to do big movement again. I don't want to heat us up. So coming up to standing and move the props out of the way. And just step your feet wide. I don't know, maybe legs distance between the 2 feet, facing dead ahead here on the side of your mat. Come onto the fingertips, forward bending. And this is known as Sitali Pranayama, but we're going to do a little variation on it. So be on your fingertips, lengthen the spine forward. Notice your feet, and notice if you've rolled to the outer edge or inner edge. Try to ground all the 4 corners of your feet. And then take a big inhale. We're going to keep the arms straight. We're going to keep the heart, the skull reaching forward. You're just going to bend your right leg. Start small, just a little bend. Walk your hands over to the right. Pause. Lengthen the spine. Inhale. And then maybe bend a little bit more into that leg. I'd like for you to feel a sense of release through the inseam of that straight left leg. And there are a lot of variations on this. Some people like to square the hips. Some people like to let the hips go, like rolling to the right more. There's variations of reaching arms out on a diagonal. Just see what feels right. How about one more breath? And then inhale, we'll come on up to center. And as you're ready, bend left, walk the hands over enough so you feel supported. And start with a little baby stretch. And if it feels good, start to go a little bit deeper. Maybe walk hands if you need to. And think about the variations. Maybe you tried on your first side that felt good, if you'd like. Tipping pelvis more or less. Walking hands out diagonal. This side will be your left diagonal, reaching far, if that feels good to you. And then come on back. Slowly, slowly, straighten the legs. And let's just do one simple pulse. Inhale, hands in center, reach forward. And then come to the first side, walk your hands over, bend the right leg, exhale. And then inhale to center. And exhale, other side. And just one last set. Inhale, just a little flow, nice and easy. Exhale, first side. And inhale. And exhale into that second side. Now let's come on up. Inhale. Hands to hips. Exhale. And we're going to rise all the way up and take a moment. Come out of the hip flexion. All right, if you're up for it, we're going to do one more in this position. We're just going to add a little twist. So roll the shoulders back and breathe the chest up. Maybe look up if that feels good. Plant your feet. And then again, we'll forward bend. And we're going to take the hands forward again. And we're going to plant the left hand pretty much under the face. Inhale, lengthen spine. And then easy twist. Open the right arm to the side. Let your hips go to the right. So the whole torso is opening up to the side. Keep a little push down through that left hand so that the reach for the right arm is nice and easy. Just one more breath. And then exhale, come on down. Right hand under the face. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, nice and easy. Open up into a twist. So again, we're letting the right side of the pelvis go leftward with the whole spine. No strain in the pelvis. Ease and length through the whole spine from tail to crown. One more inhale. Spread your wings. And then exhale. We'll fold all the way down. Take an inhale here. And this time let's just fold. Grab the ankles. Let your head hang. Maybe it reaches the floor. Maybe it doesn't. Keep your legs active and firm. You can bend the knees if that feels better, but just keep them strong. And a last breath. Walk your hands forward. Again, under your shoulders as you reach. And keep some weight on the hands and just heel toe your feet together until they come about hip width, outer hip width maybe. And then inhale, float the hands to the hips. Exhale, little bend in the knees. And then press all the way up. And exhale. Good. All right, let's do a wide-legged sit. I'm going to invite you to use different props depending upon what you need today. Many of you are going to be served just with a folded blanket like we did before. If you're tighter in the hips or the inseams of the legs, you might sit on a bolster. Or, I don't like blocks, they're too hard for this. So sit back and hold underneath your knees and just stretch your legs wide apart. And I like to have the tops of my thighs on the blanket. Now, if you're on a very high lift and your knees tend to go too far, they hyperextend, you can roll up a little washcloth or something under your knees if it feels like they're going too far, and you'll feel tenderness right through there. Upavista Konasana. And we're just going to pause here and sit up tall. Oh, you know what? Another good option is to just sit next to a wall so your back can rest on the wall. That's great, especially if you feel fatigue right now. Let's grab the leg and make sure, roll it either in or out like you need so that the knee and the toes are pretty much pointing straight up. And check both legs. I find that my shins and my feet are kind of sneaky. They, they have a mind of their own. And sitting tall. And we're going to be here for about 2 minutes. We're just going to sit. If you're dying to fold over and let go, that's fine. I find this upright, open position more cooling than some of the forward bends because you keep the body parts away from one another. And there's something about driving the tops of the thighs, reaching the underneath sides of the legs, that makes me feel solid and strong. See if you feel that too. If you want to work your arms a little harder, the classic pose is the arms are straight out. If you don't do this very often, you'll get tired very quickly. So it's up to you. And feel the breath. If you'd like, you could do Sitali again, right here, curling the tongue and breathing in and out. And if you're really feeling hot, and if you're having yet another flash, then feel free. Use that anytime. And then if you have it in you, if you have the juice, the energy, we'll interlace the hands overhead and press up. But again, let your interest be in grounding the backs of the legs and letting the spine feel tall. A feeling of openness and yet solid and grounded. If this is too much, you can grab a thumb. If it's all too much, take the arms back down beside you. Arms up if that's comfortable for you today. Just the feeling of lifting the ribs, again, more space. And maybe 2 or 3 more breaths. Face is soft, jaw is soft, tongue is soft. If you haven't changed the lace of the hands, you could do that. Last couple of breaths. And then stretch fingers to sky if they're still up, and open the arms wide and all the way down. And we're going to bring the hands under the knees and use your arm strength to bend the knees and bring the legs together in front of you. And just give the knees a little hug. All right, we're going to move into one of the great restorative poses, I think, of all time. And I'm going to show you all the propping that is classically done. So bolster long ways, folded blanket, that's for your head. And then if you have tender sacrum or low back, I do recommend using a strap. I know it takes a minute to set it up, but it'll make your sacrum, your pelvic bones feel a little more, I don't know, taken care of. And that's a good feeling, isn't it? All right, so you'll need a big loop. Have that handy. And then we'll just have blocks to the side. You've probably done this pose before. And if you have a different setup that you love, go for that. So loop goes over the head like you're putting on a big sweater. And then you want that to be at the middle of the pelvis, over the sacrum, not the waist, right? That's the important piece. And then you take the loop and you put it under your feet. So it goes through the inner thighs and under the feet. And you want to adjust that strap. So when you pull it tight, it brings your feet in as close as your body likes. And you want the buckle not on your skin. So adjust it so that buckle, it's just not very comfortable. And then some people like to put the blocks high on a diagonal. That's a really nice thing. And if you are tighter there, do that. Or you can just bring the blocks in closer. To come in, lift your pelvis, lengthen the tailbone forward, so get long in the lower back. And then roll back onto the bolster. And adjust the blanket. So you want the blanket under the head and not the neck for this pose. Sometimes we do it differently. And then just check in and see if you need to adjust. If it feels like a giant back bend in your lower back, then what I'm going to ask you to do is to lift up and push the bolster headward. so that your ribs are on, but the low back gets some length. And that's actually a really nice thing, especially if you want to hold it for any length of time. And then roll those arms, you know what to do. Eyes of the elbows, palms up. Push the elbow tips down and tuck those shoulder blades under so the chest expands. Palms are up. And just close the eyes. Sometimes it's easier to feel, is everything just right or not with the eyes closed? If you have your eye pillow handy, you could grab it. And then just one big breath into the belly. In, open mouth. And this is a resting pose, and I'm actually not going to talk a whole lot. I'm going to see if we can both just get really comfy and really make everything just right for you right now. And I think that's one of the great lessons, the great, if you will, pluses of this time of our lives, when everything seems to be changing around us, is that it's worth it to take an extra minute or 5 minutes to get really comfortable. It's worth it to take 30 minutes out of your day and choose a practice. And maybe one day your practice is walking in the woods, getting away from it all. But maybe you'll find that one of these practices will help you feel a little cooler, quiet your nervous system, focus your mind, whatever it is you may need. And even if it's helpful to think to yourself, well, I'll be a better parent, or I'll be a better spouse, or I'll be a better worker if I take care of myself. That's fine, that's great. But what I hope for you and for all of us is that we do these practices to look after ourselves so that we can feel better, so that we can choose to participate in all of the life activities that we love to do, feeling grounded, like we have plenty of energy and time. It really is a lesson in compassion. And I find that most of us are a little better at bringing compassion and patience to the people we love than to ourselves. Let this time help you develop that practice of self-compassion. It's a rocky time. Feels like a lot is shifting all the time, unpredictably. Give yourself care. Self-love, self-compassion, self-patience. Breathe that in. Let's rest here just another moment. Feeling yourself, your body soften into the shape. Feeling open and supported. And if you've got a lot of time, stay a little longer. But if it's time for you to move on for your day, bring your hands under your knees. Just bring the knees together. See if you can slip the feet out of the strap without lifting your torso. Don't worry about where the strap is, and just roll to a side. And come on off the bolster and let your head rest in that upper arm. Oh. And then pushing with the hand that's in front of you. Come on up to sitting. Come into an easy cross leg. Just pause, eyes closed, hands on lap, comfortably. Notice how you feel. The practice isn't going to fix or cure anything, but do you feel a little quieter, a little softer? Maybe even a little cooler. Let's bring our hands together, taking a moment in gratitude, thankful for all the support, whether it's a bolster or friends or family. Thankful for the time we have in our lives to look after ourselves. Om Shanti. Namaste.